What's it like working on a film set? That's what I'm gonna be answering today, and I'm gonna tell you a bit of my experience and how it generally works. About 2 to 3 years ago, I started studying film in high school, which is where I learned most of my basic skills in filmmaking, using a camera and writing scripts and stuff. And then in the years after that, I went to college, where I started also studying film. But in those 2 years that I studied at college, I didn't really find my passion for filmmaking, and it just really disappeared a bit because all of the tasks we needed to perform at school, they really were under-delivering. They were really undermining our creativity with their own self-imposed deadlines and all of their weird assignments that just didn't really make sense or didn't really convey any sort of creativity that you could implement in your work. So when I quit film school, I started looking for actual film jobs. Our colleges have a lot of Facebook groups from their students and some teachers as well, where people post regularly asking stuff about what lectures there are coming up or what tasks they need to perform or which assignments they need to make. And on those forums, on those Facebook groups, there's also a lot of job listings. So what you need to do is to get into one of those Facebook groups and you need to search for job listings there, because there's always some people trying to look for some sort of new intern or someone who can fill in the work of someone for a few days on a film set. It can be any type of job. It can go from sound department to the location department to whichever department is really looking for some work that moment. So what you need to do is be looking out on these groups for some opportunities and just work your way up from there. So from one of those Facebook groups, I actually got my first film job, which is where I'm working now. Well, I'm actually under NDA and I can't really tell you any details about what we're filming or what the production is, but I can tell you some experiences that I've already had. So currently I'm assistant stage manager, which basically means I need to help the stage manager perform his job on set and do everything outside of that. So the stage manager is always on set while they're filming, and he always calls out for sound. He always makes sure when something is awry on location that it gets fixed. For example, the stage manager leads his assistants to, for example, block the road when we're filming on the street so that no cars will pass by when we're filming. But it can also go from making sure there's food for everyone to eat throughout the entire day. So we also need to make sure that there's food and snacks. We need to make sure that there's also lunch and breakfast and dinner, not in that order of course. And also just a lot of mundane tasks that need to get done on set that not a lot of people have time for. So that's basically what the stage manager and his assistants do. So that's basically my job. And I must say that I am actually very pleased with the way that we're being treated on set. I'm very new to the set working life, so I wasn't really sure on my first day what to do or how to behave a little bit, but everyone was super chill, everyone was very friendly and just very welcoming and inviting. I immediately got to work essentially. I just started doing what my stage manager asked me to do. So I just performed whatever tasks that I needed to perform, and I made sure to stay very professional and be very attentive and listening and always looking around for work, or just I was trying to put in like 10 times as much effort than I would normally do, just to make sure that I really get into the role of how this job goes and I just get into the feeling of how I should be doing everything. And when you're working on set, you always need to make sure that you're not disturbing anything that's going on with the actors or any other departments. You need to be very attentive towards everyone else, because if you might be working on something but they're recording 10 meters away, then everything that you do will probably be heard by the microphones that they're being used. So you need to make sure that you're not disturbing anything that happens on set, because everything that disturbs makes the job take longer. So on set, everyone is just making sure that they can do their job without disturbing anyone else, and that all the work gets done quickly and effortlessly. If you're starting out working on a film set, you really shouldn't be scared or anything about that, because all of the work if you know what you have to do on the set. If you have a little bit of background experience or just generally know what's going on film sets, you know some of the terminology that's being used, then you can get along very quickly into the rhythm of everything that's happening on set. So if you want to start working on set, I would suggest you go to film school maybe, and you just learn a bit of the basics, and you learn some of the terminology, and you learn some of the workplace etiquette and stuff on set. Then you can start very easily working on just different sets without actually graduating or without actually having made a short film that's like won multiple awards or something. You can just start working on a film set if you want to do that and you have some prior experience or knowledge. Quick recap. If you want to start working on film sets, you should try to gain a bit of experience in the film world by going to film school or just helping some other student friends on their short films. And then secondly, you need to start joining filmmaking Facebook groups in your region, your area. You need to start looking out for job postings and find something that fits for you. And then you can start working. So if you like this little bit of inside knowledge of the Belgian film world, I really hope you consider liking and subscribing. That would mean the world to me. Be sure to watch my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!